74.
जय जिनेश साहब Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Is this a student or hello? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am unable to share my screen. Is Anvika Patil the host? Hello? Is Anvika Patil the host or is Hanuman Baravkar the host?
No, ma'am.
Who's the host here? Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me just contact the concerned person. Hello, good evening, everyone. Waiting for the share screen to be activated by the host. So till then, at least let us have a conversation. Okay. I would like you all to respond once in a while to just help me understand whether you all are there across. Okay. I think I would expect Yash to do it. Yash, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Beta. I would like to you to just respond once in a while because it is very irritating to just talk on the blank screen.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mrs. Menon from Sati College, Mumbai, and I have this is my 33rd year of teaching, and I've been a moderator for the past 18 years and an examiner for an equal number of years. And I am the author of the textbook, also co-author of the textbook. You can see my name in the textbook, the list of authors, and Mrs. Meta Menon. Okay, we have collected here. I do not want to.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, you are the host now. You can share the screen.
Yes, sir. Hello, Abang sir. Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Tejas here, ma'am. Tejas sir here. You can share the screen now. Okay.
I'll share. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Now, our physics paper is on Monday, that is 27th. Can you all see the screen? Yash?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, the exam is on 27th. We are already on 24th. So I suppose most of you all must be having 2 days to study. That is Saturday and Sunday, and we have the paper on Monday. I've been told by your teachers that most of you are aspiring for NEET or JEE. So definitely all of you are on the intelligent side. Most of you must have covered everything. This is just a brushing up session where we are approaching the HSC exam or going to attempt the HSC exam stress-free. Okay. So I'm here to just tell you, you can unmute whenever you feel so. You can ask me questions. As and when you feel there is something that is troubling you, please do let me know. And let's have a session wherein we try to cover what needs to be done, how are we going to go about it, and how we can have how do we go for an exam and try to score as much as possible. Okay, so our syllabus, the evaluation is for 100 marks. The 30 marks practical examination you've already attempted. And I'm sure most of you all must have scored the maximum. Now we are left with the 70 marks paper. Okay. So this option also, you must have already got it. That is the weightage for each chapter. I'll just go till the end and then we come back to the content. Okay. Now we can, as you can see that we have a total of 98 marks that is to be scored. 98 is our total score. That is, entire paper will be of 98 marks, out of which you have to attempt a 70-mark paper. Now, there has to be speed, precision, and a lot of other factors which are involved. So how do we go about studying? Now, if it is that you have studied once, if in case you have studied the entire syllabus once, then it is very easy. Today or maybe by tomorrow morning, you can start off with the 7-mark chapters, which are 6 in number. You can see that there are 6 7-marks chapter, for the first 4, the 7th, and the 12th. These chapters are lengthy, important. Yes, yes.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, what if we skip 1 or 2 chapters?
No, I wouldn't advise you to do that. It's because the paper is set in, I was a paper setter year before last. I was a scrutiny person. That is, once a paper is set, then the paper goes for scrutiny. I was the committee member of the scrutiny paper session. And while doing so, we realized that if in case you skip a chapter, the other options have to be thoroughly done. Now, this being the first year wherein the entire syllabus is come into picture, leaving out could be disastrous, because as it is, you are not going to study every bit of the chapters that you intend to do. Suppose out of the 16 chapters, you are leaving out, say, the 13th one, which is AC circuits. Okay. Now, it should, if you're daring or making an attempt to leave one chapter, the remaining 1 to 12 and 14 to 16 should be done in such a way that any question asked from that you should be able to do it. And that at this stage is slightly difficult for a student who's going to cover the entire syllabus, and the content is too much, the content is vast, plus at the same time, most of you do not have the writing practice. Since you all have been focusing on your JEE and NEET, which is just ticking and circling and just calculating objectively, it will be very difficult for you all to complete the paper by selecting questions which are lengthy. So my advice is that do not leave one chapter completely. You could leave some or few topics here and there, but never leave one whole chapter. Okay. Now I'll help you all. I'll help you all recollect most of it or how to do it. I'm here to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Your teacher, Dr. Abhag, has been my daughter's teacher too. And I have known him for almost 15-20 years. So his kids are mine. So I have absolutely no, and for me, any student is mine. So please don't hesitate to ask me any questions, even though I've not seen you, but I'm told that most of you all are from Pune and I'm a Puneite myself. So I have a special affection towards you. So please feel free to ask me whatever questions you have. Okay. Now, as I said, the first 4 chapters plus the 7th chapter and the 12th chapter needs to be done thoroughly. When I say thoroughly, every definition, every maybe a 2-marker, 3-marker, 4-marker, book back questions, unsolved and solved questions, and even the ones in yellow needs to be done thoroughly well. Students who wish to just score passing marks, who just wish to just clear your HSC, this itself should be sufficient because 42 marks are the total that you are going to attempt for if you have done these 6 chapters of 7 markers completely well. Once you're done with these 7 markers, then you go for these 6 markers. There are again 6 of them, which are relatively easy, less stringent, less difficult, and they will comprise. I mean, they will give you another 36 marks weightage. So 42 and 36, you are well past your 70 scores, and you can easily score at least 50 plus. If in case you are weak, I mean, the remaining 5 chapters are these 5 markers are these 4 chapters, that is oscillation, magnetic materials, dual nature, and semiconductors. These are very small chapters, especially magnetic materials. There is hardly anything that you need to study. Even dual nature, it's mostly theoretical. Semiconductor devices are not at all difficult. And then oscillations, of course, most of you all must have done it intensely because it is connected with your JEE and CET exams. So you will not have difficulty studying oscillations, but the only difficulty being able to complete your paper while writing them. So you will start, if in case you've not yet started revising, revision should be done with the 7 markers first, the 6 markers next, and the 5 markers. By the time you've done your 7 markers, you are mentally relaxed because you have scored 42 marks. You are going to pass invariably if you've done these 6 chapters. Then you know that the remaining 6 are going to be easier ones, relatively easier ones. So just start studying them. I will tell you how with the there's one thing that I would want you all to do is have your textbooks with you. Please keep your textbooks with you so that I will tell you how to study and what to do. Okay. So these 6 markers are to be done next, and then followed by the 5 markers that can be done by Sunday afternoon. By Sunday afternoon, if you will sit down with these 5 markers, you can finish it up by 9 comfortably, and you will be at ease. Monday morning, you can just brush through as I will tell you what you need to focus on Monday morning. By Sunday evening, you will be done. Tomorrow, if you start in the morning by around 6 o'clock, 7 markers should get over by evening. Evening maybe around 6 or 7. By this time, you should finish your 7 marker chapters. You can start with your 6 markers by, after around 8 o'clock, complete around 1 or 2 of them today night, Saturday night. And then you are left with remaining 4, which can be completed in the morning session. Go through all the solved and the unsolved numericals. You must be definitely having those numericals, book back numericals with you. So try to solve each and every question. Okay, we'll go ahead as we proceed. I'll tell you how you need to do. Now, most of you all must have solved your question paper, which contains 4 sections. Section A, which is 10 mark MCQs, each carrying 1 mark. Now this section will have 7 theory questions and 3 numericals. Now these are the numericals which will be which use generally one formula and simple calculation, no complex calculations, no need of log tables, simple 1 mark calculations involved, maybe something like V is equal to R omega. Omega is given, V is given, find out R. Something as simple as that. The 7 theory questions will be only from your textbook. Somebody please unmute. Somebody, there is some disturbance, mute karo. Okay, the 7 theory questions will be, could be one with dimensions, one with maybe some state, something, some definition. One could be a use of something, maybe the use of business, or maybe the contaminants which increase surface tension or decrease surface tension, or different types of LEDs, or maybe uses of something. So something like that, or maybe out of the following three are paramagnetic, you need to identify one diamagnetic, something of that type. Okay, so maybe diatherminous, atherminous material, substances. So it could be something which comes directly from the textbook. It could also be a numerical value like, Rydberg's constant or Boltzmann's constant, or any of those constants, which could be, or the Wien constant, any of those constants, value of those constants. Okay, so everything comes from the textbook. In this section, you will have no options. You need to write all 10 of them in order to score complete 10. Section A, question 2 are 8 very short answer questions. We call it as VSA, which again carry 1 mark. So the numericals of these 2 sections can be the same. Here only the wordings will be different. Here I will ask, how will you find out, or find the velocity, or find the angular momentum, or find the radius, or radius of gyration, whatever it is, mk square hai, so I can ask you that way. Here it will be the radius of gyration is hence so much, and so on. So the structure of the MCQ numerical and the 1 mark numerical is virtually the same. This section will have 6 theory questions and 2 numericals. 6 theory questions are the ones which will contain only 1 line, 1 word, or maybe 1 definition. Something very small. It won't be a big definition like define surface tension. It won't be a question like state the theorem of parallel axis, because they are all big definitions. It could be something like, what is a black body? So you will have to just write in 1 sentence, or state the applications of eddy current. Okay, you will be, if it is to state the applications, hai to put 2. If they say state one use of maybe an LED, just write 1 use. So be as precise as possible in your question number 2, because you need not explain anything. You need not elaborate on anything. It has to be just 1 line, 1 word, or 1 sentence. Again, here there are no options. So a total of 18 marks, which are compulsory for every student. This is where, Yash, as I said, if you get a question from the chapter which you have omitted, you will be in for a loss. Clear?
Ma'am, so then what if we study those definitions and very short answer questions for these chapters?
You can, but then what if it is if it is no if you're studying the definitions, if you're studying the what do you call, units and dimensions, it could be or maybe the what do you call, state the name of something. Okay, as I said, state give one example of or one application of eddy currents. Now, one application, it could be induction furnace. If you have listed out 3 to 4, then it is easy. Deadbeat galvanometer, or maybe induction furnace, or maybe brakes, electric brakes. Any of those can be used, but it should be easily retrievable. If you're that done with all the chapters, then you can afford to leave one chapter. Now, which chapter depends upon your weaknesses? Which chapter are you weak about? Which is the one which you dislike?
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
My voice is breaking. Network issues, is it? Now is it clear? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
No, ma'am.
Again gone? No, I am taking a pause in between because
I think Yash line is not clear. We
could
are
be
able to hear clearly.
Yeah, could be, because even when Yash was speaking, it wasn't clear to me. There was a slag, a drag in the sentence. Okay, now here I've given you the type of questions. State the unit and dimensions of. Okay, now generally it could be state the unit of or state the dimensions of. But if this type of question comes, state the unit and dimension, mind well that question number 2 does not have an option of half a mark. So if you've written the unit, but if it is correct, but you've not written the dimension, you still get 0 scores, even if any one of them is right. So you have to be very thorough about it. Define could be something very small definitions. It could be what is linear momentum. Okay, state the postulate or the law, or state the theorem. What do you mean by, okay, what do you mean by surface tension? So what do you mean by surface tension? You need not reproduce the definition which is, or what do you mean by surface energy? Or what do you mean by maybe an isothermal reaction? Okay, so something very small. Name could be any of those. Lot of things are being named. Name one maybe ferromagnetic material. Okay, so or name one LED. Okay, give the name of one composition of LED, or it could be name one logic gate. Okay, it could be any of those. And then numericals will be also straight away simple substitution type. I'm giving you some examples. State the names of the visible series in hydrogen spectrum. Okay, state the name of the visible series. So you have to just name the visible series. Now you know that there are 5 series in the hydrogen spectrum, that is Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, etc. So you will have to find out which one comes in this name. Can anyone tell me the name of this answer, or give me the answer for this?
Balmer series.
Very good, excellent. So you just have to write Balmer series. That's it. Okay. What is adiabatic process? Okay, or it could be what do you mean by adiabatic process? So you need not define. You just have to write down what happens in adiabatic. You don't even have to compare what happens to isothermal or maybe isobaric. You don't have to make a comparison. Just write what is an adiabatic process. Why is vertical circular motion a non-uniform? Now, Yash was asking, what if I do all the definitions? Now, why is circular motion non-uniform? So here you have to be very precise. Simple one line answer, which should satisfy the quest or the requirement of the paper check. Okay, what are the ways to change the internal energy? So ways to change, you will be very in just one line you should be able to write. Now this is an MCQ which has been converted into a 1 marker. If a spring is cut into n equal parts, then what will be the spring constant of each part? If the source of light is linear, what type of a wavefront is it? If the source of light is maybe what do you call point source, then what type, okay, of the wavefront? And if the source of light is at infinity, what will be the type of wavefront? If the source is linear, then you get a cylindrical wavefront. If the source is point source and if it is at infinity, you get plane wavefront. And if the source is a point source, but it is at a finite distance, then it gives you a spherical wavefront. So you should be comparing. When I'm giving you such type of questions, you should be studying all the other possibilities also. So when it is linear, what happens? When it is spherical, what happens? When it is point source, what happens? And so on. Similarly, when I said what is adiabatic, you should be knowing the other processes also. When I say state the name of visible series, you should know where are the other series, where would the other series be found. Lyman is in ultraviolet, Lyman is in, infrared and ultraviolet. So you should be knowing near infrared, far infrared, or infrared. So you should be knowing those clarity. There should be clarity, and whenever you're doing any question. Now define half-life. There are a lot of such 1 mark or small definitions. Okay. Now we go to section B. Section B consists of questions from 3 to 14. They are called as short answer 1, wherein each question carries 2 marks. Now here you have an option that you will be given a total of 12 questions, out of which you have to attempt any 8. These 12 questions will have 7 theory and 5 numerical. This is the question where you would be having distinguish between. So any to distinguish between points, you need to do it, right? But when you're writing distinguish between, make sure that they are written in decreasing order of their importance. That is what they are. If you can define them, that should be the first point. Distinction should be clear. This is black, that is white. That it shouldn't be that. You should be clearly able to write down the distinction property wise. That it happens, like if I'm talking about stationary waves and beats. What happens in stationary waves? What happens in beats? How are the waves traveling? How are they superimposing? What are the conditions for superimposing? What is the outcome? And all those. That is one distinguish between will definitely be found in this section. Then the most important thing that you can find here is draw neat labeled diagram. So this neat labeled diagram, 1 mark is for drawing them precisely, clearly with pencil, and 1 mark is for your labeling. So while you are studying, I would want you to have a rough book. Just reproduce whatever diagrams you come across and keep drawing them. Keep drawing them. A minimum of 6 to 8 labelings should be marked clearly, section wise. Suppose if I'm talking about Ferry's black body, what are the 6 labeling you should know for each and every diagram? So now is the stage where you are preparing for the final go. So everything needs to be done very, very to the point, perfectly. Okay. Then define state, unit, and dimensions. Okay. Define maybe moment of inertia, state, its unit, and dimension. Or define radius of gyration, state, its unit, and dimension. Okay. Like this, you will find a lot of questions where you have defined state and write the dimensions. Especially in the heat and thermodynamics chapter, you need to be very clear about the dimensions and the units that you're writing, whether it is SI system or CJ system. Then you could have a reason, like give reasons. Why are soldiers asked to break their steps while crossing a suspension bridge? So you will write down in one, the 2 paragraphs. Pardon? Pardon? Then simple numerical, which are formulae based. Okay, like A is equal to R omega square. Okay, or find the centripetal force, or find the, or maybe if I have to talk in terms of, say, potential, find the ratio of the cells. Okay, EMFs of the cells, compare the EMFs, or find the internal resistance of the cell, where R into L1 by L2 minus 1. So L1 and L2 will be given, capital R will be given. You just have to substitute and calculate. Okay. So these are your simple questions. I'll give you some examples like state Biot-Savart's law.
चालू है.
Please unmute whoever is talking. Express it in vector form. Here is where you lose your marks. When you're writing in the vector form, please ensure that the left-hand side and the right-hand side have their vector notations. You, after writing down the paper and when the results come out, you are in for a shock. That I did write this question, where did I lose my marks? These are the minute things which moderators check for. The left-hand side and the right-hand side should have their vector notations. Only then you get your scores for this. Like how I said, what are eddy currents? So 2 mark may 1 mark comes for eddy currents. State the applications. So 2 applications, just state them. So 1 application, each will carry half a mark. What is a rejector circuit? State its uses. So rejector circuit and acceptor circuit, you have 2 of those in series resonance and parallel resonance circuits in AC circuits chapter. So write down what is a rejector circuit and what is an acceptor circuit when it is asked. I mean, not here, when you can have what is an acceptor circuit, and state its uses. Where are they used? So just 2 of them. Now here, what is the effect of intensity on photoelectric effect? What is the intensity of frequency on the photoelectric effect? What is the effect of material on the photoelectric effect? All these things can be studied at one go by comparative study. Draw the energy level diagram for hydrogen atom. Please refer to a good diagram. The textbook diagram has a little bit of less clarity. You could even go Google it, or you can use the old, the 2000 before the 2020 ke pehle, the textbook that we all used. That has a very good diagram of energy level. Then define coefficient of viscosity, state its unit. So here dimensions are not asked. So coefficient of viscosity itself has a slightly bigger definition, state its unit. Then on the basis of kinetic theory, these are small questions. PV is equal to constant, or show that intensity is dV by dx. So similarly, chote jo definite derivations, which will be just about 2 or 3 lines. This will be your derivations for 2 markers. Then state the laws of simple pendulum. So any 2 laws. Okay. So 2 laws of simple pendulum based on the formula, you can write it in terms of the frequency. Okay, now distinguish between harmonics and overtones. So you will write what are harmonics, what are overtones, and then any other point which is relevant, which makes it a clear distinction. Then, as I said, stationary waves and beats. So these are the questions that are there for 2 marks. Then your section C carries questions from 15 to 26. Okay, Yash, what happened? Any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else who has any doubt regarding the 2 sections that we have just discussed? Should I go ahead in the same? Yes. Who are they? Please let me know. 2 students.
Ma'am, could you please show the previous slide once?
Done?
Just a second. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. What is the other participant's question? Somebody else has also raised her hand, yeah, or his or her hand. Okay, I go ahead. This is section C, which contains, I'm going to give you a few more questions. Okay, so just to be there, do not leave. Section C, which contains questions from 15 to 26. These are all essay 2 type questions, 3 marks each. Again, this will have 12 questions, out of which you have to do 8, 7 theory questions and 5 numericals. These theory questions are the big ones, the big derivations. You know, it could be the kinetic energy expression, or it could be from or it could be something, you know, from if you have to see the first chapter, I can tell you for the first chapter it could be angular momentum derivation, that is L is equal to torque tau is equal to I alpha derivation, or solving show that angular momentum is conserved in vertical circular motion, or it could be any of those. If I go to chapter 2, it could be show the relation between get an expression for excess pressure, okay, for a soap bubble and for a water bottle. These are two different. It is one is 4T by R and the other is 2T by R. So you need to be very clear and read properly before you start writing or before you conclude. Okay. Then it could be, if I go to chapter 3, okay, in chapter 2 itself, the derivation of viscous force, it could be Stokes' law, the derivation to show Stokes' law on the basis of dimensional analysis. So that is one 3-mark question. Then you could have a question on terminal velocity. Or if I go to the 3rd chapter, then I can give you A plus R plus T is equal to 1. That can come for 3 marks, wherein all the 3 definitions, that is A and R and T have to be defined, and then just show A plus R plus T is equal to 1. Then you could have in thermodynamics work done derivations. Then chapter 4, chapter 5, you could have either to find out velocity and displacement and velocity, or velocity and acceleration, or show that that is a simple harmonic motion is a projection of uniform circular motion. So any of those definitions. Okay, it could also be state Huygens principle and explain the construction of a plane wavefront or spherical wavefront or cylindrical wavefront. So state a definition and derive. So it could be something like that. It could be reflection derivation. It could be refraction derivation. It could be Brewster's law. So lot of questions which can come from this section, which are lengthy, which needs to be practiced. Regarding the 3-mark numerical, these are the ones which carry 2 formulae. So 1.5 marks. So wherever you come across a numerical carrying 2 formulae or 1 formula which is lengthy by itself, they are the ones which can be asked for 3 marks. So here you can have questions like state the postulates. So state the postulates, it could be Faraday's laws. State the laws of Faraday's. Okay, so it will be 2 laws of Faraday and 1 law of Lenz. Okay, it could be your laws of vibrating string, law of length, law of tension, etc. It could be your atoms, molecules chapter may say. You could have that is laws of what is it? I give you Bohr's postulates. It could be Bohr's postulates. All of them come for 3 marks. These are the postulates and laws. Okay. Then you can have some question like state and explain the principle of conservation of angular momentum. You could have explain surface tension on the basis of molecular theory. Now, this is one question which comes exclusively for 3 marks, where you have to talk in terms of all the 3 molecules. The molecule which is right at the bottom, molecule which is partially on the surface, and molecule which is on the surface. So 3 molecules A, B, and C. For those students who haven't seen this derivation, I will just tell you the page number. Does anyone have the page number for this? By the time I search for it. No one? Okay, it is, the diagram is on page, the diagram is your figure 2.15. And you can see on page 34, surface tension on the basis of molecular theory. Now, you need not write the whole thing. You can reduce it. You can talk about each molecule for just maybe 2 lines, 2 to 3 lines. So 3 paragraphs which clearly speak about molecule A, B, and C, and you get your 3 scores. The diagram also carries marks. Then, as I told you, state Stokes' law and prove it by dimensional analysis. Then explain the spectral distribution of black body radiation. Thermodynamics may say ye questions which can come, these are pointers, this question and this question. So 1.5 marks. Then, as I told you, differential equation of linear SHM and obtain an expression for displacement, or from the differential equation of linear SHM, obtain the expression for acceleration and velocity, or displacement and velocity, and so on. Then there is in the same question of differential equation, you have in that chapter, that is oscillations chapter, that is page 119, you have those graphical representations. Article 5.9, page 118, 119, you have those 3 diagrams about graphical representation of how particle variation of displacement, etc., velocity, acceleration when particles start from mean position and extreme position. So these graphs are very important, and when you're drawing these graphs, make sure that you're drawing them one below the other, and the width of each of those waves is the same. From acceleration, displacement, velocity, and acceleration, you need to show what have you plotted on the x and y axis. The height of the wave and the width of the wave have to be the same. Otherwise, you tend to lose marks. Then state the postulates of Bohr's atomic model. This is what I was telling you, the first postulate, second and the third. And when you're writing down these postulates, do not forget to write down their concerned equations also. Okay. Then there could be compare. Instead of asking you to write down distinction, they will ask you compare photodiode and LED. So you can draw a line and like distinguish between, you can do it, or you can write a paragraph about photodiode with its diagram and symbol, and similarly for LED, a diagram and symbol. Then, as I told you from the last chapter, this is a clear 3 marks. See, what is an OR gate? 1 mark, Boolean expression, symbol and truth table. Boolean expression 1 mark, symbol and truth table. Boolean and symbol 1 mark, that is half, and truth table 1 mark. So 1, 1, and 1. So these are the clear 3 mark questions. Then we go to the last section, which is long answer questions, which carry 4 marks each. They are a total of 27 to 31 is 5. Out of these 5, you need to do any 3. Now, these questions come in a different format. The 5 questions will be 1 question of complete 4-mark theory, another question of complete 4-mark theory, or 3 questions of 2-mark theory and 2-mark numeric. My personal advice would be go for these 3, because you need to solve any 3 out of 5. So go for 2T to N combinations. That would help you score more and save time. Now, this is one derivation for 4 marks. Derive an expression for electric potential due to an electric dipole, the complete big derivation, which involves a lot of mathematics. Then conditions to derive the conditions for bright and dark fringes, and so that they are equally spaced. Formation of stationary waves, and the distance between 2 nodes and antinodes is lambda by 2. Now here, I would like you to concentrate on 3 derivations, which are of the same format. Superposition equations, that is progressive wave equations, 2 progressive wave equations, and in beats, in stationary waves, and in superposition of waves, you will find the same format. So study them in a comparative way. Isme, it is both the waves are traveling in the same direction. In the other one, the waves are traveling in opposite direction. That is in case of stationary waves. And for superposition, how are they traveling? How should their amplitude be? Should the amplitudes be same? Should the amplitudes be different? Should the frequencies be same? And so on. So make a comparative study of all the 3 एक कर दिया तो बाकी दोनों easily आपका आ जाएगा. Only basic limiting conditions तीनों का you have to study well. Then just an example of all these terminal velocities I told you. Construction and working of photodiode. Then it could be LED, it could be solar cell, it could be transformer. Lot of construction and working are there. It could be Van de Graaff generator, it could be cyclotron. So there are a lot of these construction, moving coil galvanometer. So all these questions can come for construction and work. Now I come to the time management section. For question number 1, which carries 10 MCQs, don't spend more than 2 minutes. I've written this is the maximum limit. Do not spend 20 minutes also. Even if you spend 1 minute, there are a lot of questions which can be easily picked up. Since most of you, I am told that all of you are JEE NEET students, so this should not take more than 10 minutes for all of you. The 2 minutes condition is for those who are theoretical students, that is, who intend to go for BSc and who have never done these MCQs in their life. You all should save 10 minutes from here outright. Question number 2 carries 8 questions. These are the compulsory questions. So by if you start your exam by 11 o'clock, 11:10 for all of you, it should be MCQ done. And 11 maybe by another 10 minutes more, by 11:20 your section A should be done. You are good at objectives, so cash on it, utilize that. The 16 and 20 minutes are for those who are not good in MCQs and not opting for competitive exams. Now this is where you all will be using these saved up time, 40 minutes and 5 minutes per question. So you have 40 minutes. You have how many questions to attempt over here? Any idea? 8 questions. Is it 8 questions? Question section B, how many questions are you supposed to attempt?
8.
8. So 5 minutes each. So 8 5s are 40. Okay. Now here I would like to give you a small hint. Now there are 12 questions here. You are attempting only 8. After you have completed your 8 questions, leave the next page blank. Okay. In case you save up at the end and you wish to attempt extra questions, you can come back to it. Rather than writing it at the end of the paper, that question section B, these are the 2 additional questions, that irritates the examiner. So my suggestion is that leave one page after you've attempted the basic questions and don't jumble or mix your sections. Section B ke baad you do section C, then you do section D, then again come back to section B. Do not do this. So leave one page so that if in case you save time, you can come back and attempt the remaining 4 questions, because half a page is sufficient for one answer because it is a small question, 2-mark question. So half a page of your board answer paper should be sufficient for your question number 3 to 14, carrying 2 marks. Okay. Section C, do not spend more than 8 minutes per question. Now this is exclusively for you all since your writing practice is less. So try to use the timings or put the timer. I mean, you should have that in your mind. Do not forget to carry your wristwatches, not the smart watches, and you should know the time. Okay, I start at 11. If I'm very good at it, I finish at 11:10. If not, I finish at 11:20. Then the next one, 16 minutes, next 40, next 64. So approximately you should have a time count. So that will help you speeden up or slow down in case you know the time factor. So section D, which carries those big questions, 4-mark questions. As I said, if you go for your 2T2N, that is 2-mark theory and 2-mark this thing, 5 minutes is what you were giving for the 2 markers. So the same thing can be applied here. So 3 questions of 2T, 2N, you can complete it in 30 minutes. Here, please do not go for an additional question. If after completing this, you are having time, go back to this, because this is as it is compulsory. Go back to your section B, attend those remaining 4 that you have left. Then in case you still have time, then come back and maybe you might get time for just 1 3 marker. You will not get more than that. But make sure that you're checking everything, and then that checking will involve 10 minutes. So if you are done with at around, everything should be completed by 2 o'clock, so that the last 10 minutes till from 2 to 2:10, you will be sitting down and just checking whether all the question numbers are written, the diagrams are marked with their arrows, they are ray diagrams, the labelings are done, okay? Then the derivations are done properly, the answers are written with units and value and so on. Okay, so this is how your 180 minutes, 3 hours is to be utilized for that. Any questions? Can I move ahead? Okay, I go ahead.
Yeah, should extra questions we solve?
Extra only in section B.
Yeah, the ones which are solved first will be considered, or the best questions?
Yeah, do not. I am going to come to that. Repetitive questions ke baare mein, it will come in the do's and don'ts section. I'll come back to your question. Okay, who's this, beta?
Shruti.
I'll come back to this. Okay. Now, numericals to be attempted. Now, if you are a NEET student and JEE student, can you see the difference? NEET students who are not very good in maths, I would suggest you go for maximum theory. In fact, every student would have to definitely do a minimum of 12 marks numerical. So do not think of skipping your numericals from the text. Because from question number 1, MCQ, as I said, 7 plus 3, so 3 1 mark MCQ you have to do. Question number 2, there are VSA, very short answer. There are 2 1 markers that you have to do. This is a compulsory question. From your section B, you have 12, out of which 7 are theory, 5 are numericals, and you have to do 8. So 1 2 marker you have to definitely do. Similarly, with section C and section D, out of all the 3 questions, you have to do at least 1 mark if you're going for the 4 big mark derivation, big derivations, then at least 1 2T 2N you have to attempt. So there you come with 1 2 mark. But if you're good in maths, if you're good in numericals, if your formulas, you're good with formulae, retentivity and reproducibility of formula is good, then go ahead with this. This is a sure shot scorers rather than theory. If you're good at it, go for this 36 marks numericals. That will give you a complete confidence, and the chances of losing marks is less. Okay. Now the do's and don'ts. Okay. Preferably use log tables. Do not skip on your log tables. Okay. Figures, check the values or check the marks and then write your answers accordingly. Now this is where the students have been losing all these years. MCQ, when you're writing your MCQ, do not waste your time writing down the entire question. You just have to write down the question number, like question number 1, then A and the answer. Okay. A means if it is the correct option A. First question, if A is the answer, write A and its answer which is given ahead. The answer which is given ahead, if it contains meter per second square, do not think that the teacher knows it is meter per second square, so why write that? It is the whole thing, what is given as an option for A needs to be copied. So the alphabet and the answer carries marks. If all your options have 10 raised to minus 7, you will think, oh, 10 raised to minus 7 is common, so why do I need that? I just write the correct option. No. correct option is the entire answer given in under that. Yes, Arjun, bolo.
Ma'am, do we need to carry the log tables, or they are going
No,
to?
no, it will be given. It will be supplied by the college.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Then physical constants will be provided on the top of your paper. On the top of your paper. Oh, who's this? Kaustubh, who's this? Physical constants are provided on top. And if you remember, if you need a physical constant which is not given, you should be that sure about it along with the units. Okay, so be very careful while using your physical constants. Value of pi has to be taken as 3.142, not 3.14. Okay, you cannot round it off like how you do it in your competitive exams. 9.8 should be 9.8. G, small g. Don't take it as 10. You will not get marks. Then there is section wise round off. That is precisely why I told you to attempt all the questions in section question number or section B, so that even if half mark something chota diagram kar diya ya just formulae likh diya, you will get marks. So don't, in section B, make sure that you're attempting all of them. Numericals may, if you write only data, there are people who tell you all that's nahi aata hai sum, to sirf data likh do. No, datas don't carry marks. Okay, you have to show calculations. It should be data written first, followed by formulae, followed by calculations, and followed by answer. So data, formulae, calculations, and answer. Answer should be written incomplete. That is, if it is small a, that is acceleration is this much meter per second square. Now, answer carries 1 mark. The entire answer with the value and the unit. But here you tend to lose marks if your answer is right but your unit is wrong, or if your unit is right and the answer is wrong. In either case, you get 0. You get 1 only if both the answer and the unit is right. Otherwise, you lose out on that half mark. So be very careful, don't forget. And this is what you're going to check in those last 10 minutes. Then only question number written, there will be no marks. People say that the question was wrong, so I just wrote the question. No. If you feel, if there is a general discussion, like how you all had in your English paper, there was an error in the question. So even in physics, there are possibilities, because it is not that one person is doing it. It is being done by the entire state of Maharashtra. So overlooking overlooking a mistake can happen anywhere. If you realize that the unit given or the question is incomplete or there is an error, but you know the formula and you know how to do it, solve it. You are going to get a wrong answer. But since you have attempted it, the examiners are told that since the child knows how to do it, the child should be given full score. And the error was on the part of the board, so benefit of doubt is given and the child is given full score. So never leave a question saying that the question galat tha, so I did not attempt it. No, you have to solve it using the wrong values or using whatever the galat information is given, but show that the answer is wrong and write. You can even put a note that the answer I feel is the question, there is an error in the question, or I feel that it is an ambiguous question. So that is the meaning of an ambiguous question. Then labeled diagrams, minimum 6 for a 2-mark question. Now, when you are studying, now this had to be done. This is my guidance lecture at the beginning of the year to my, yes, Tanvi.
Ma'am, could you please show the previous slide?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Now, actually, this is the session which I take for students when in the beginning of the year. That is to my college students in the beginning of the year. So they know how to go about it. So by the end of the year, they are ready with all this. This is, first of all, distinguish between, segregate your diagrams. Now there is no point talking about it. But the distinguish between that is there in the entire textbook. I have made a list of them, so you can take a note. These are all the distinguish between that you have in your text. So collect at least 2 points per distinguish between. See, halfway, full wave rectifier, step up and step down transformer, then streamline and turbulent flow. The streamline and turbulent, I think, is given in your textbook itself. It's given on page 44. Okay. There's still more. These are all the diagrams, the labeled diagrams. So while studying, you take a pic of this, and while studying, go to this page and see whether you know how to reproduce these diagrams. Okay. Vertical circular motion. How is your circular motion? That arrow is essential. Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? Where is black body? The arrow for the ray which is undergoing multiple reflections. Then energy in SHM. What is plotted on the X and the Y axis? Simple pendulum. The forces, the resultant forces acting on the bob when it is in a displaced position. Damped harmonic oscillator. All page numbers are given. See, reflection, plane surface. If it is a plane surface, don't forget to show the lines, slanted lines showing the anti-reflection surface. Now, this is the next set of diagrams. While studying, when you're going to that particular chapter, make sure that you're doing all these diagrams. Redraw them and do it. See, logic gates, I've just put it in short as logic gates, but all the 5 logic gates. And, or, not, NAND, and XOR. Biasing of transistor, please do it properly. Photodiode, solar cell, and LED, unke chote structures bhi. Okay.
Ma'am, can you share the previous diagram slide?
This one?
No, the one before this.
This one?
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Yeah. Done? Are you all done with it? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, now keep yourself unmuted only, provided there are no disturbances in the surrounding.
Okay.
Can I stop sharing? Now I'd like to talk to you. Okay. Fine. Now do you all have your textbooks in front of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Now, a few tips here and there. Yellow boxes में जो भी दिया है, kindly read. Okay. Yellow boxes contain Kelvin's method. Somebody has asked me this question. Ask me, sorry, I just saw the message now. Van de Graaff generator is a 4-mark question. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The Van de Graaff generator, you have to be very clear about the charges, the charges that are shown, the blades, okay, the combs, and what is filled in the empty container. The uses have to be studied because mainly because this question was not there in the previous sections years. This is a new, this after opening up the entire syllabus, this question I feel can have what is the principle and the uses of Van de Graaff generator. Or it could be one full question on the diagrams of Van de Graaff generator. Okay. Then okay, now in numericals, data, as I told you, data, and then you have to go for conversions. First and foremost, all millimeters and maybe angstrom, convert them and then go ahead for your calculations. Results have to be worded very well. Okay, like for questions, how will you convert the given moving coil galvanometer into an ammeter or a voltmeter? Okay, if it is an ammeter, you're going to use a formula of S is equal to GIG upon I minus IG, and you're going to get the formula for shunt. Okay, so you will write that by connecting a shunt of this much value, maybe 60 ohms or whatever, we can convert the given galvanometer into an ammeter. So that wording carries 1 mark. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then body rolling down an inclined plane. This was not there before. The acceleration and the velocity. Then why is vertical circular motion non-uniform? You will write speed is not constant due to gravitational influence. So maximum, the speed is maximum at the lowest and minimum at the highest point. So this is your one question. Then the question could be why microwaves can't be used in experiments of photoelectric effect. Any answer for this? Why microwaves cannot be used in the experiment of photoelectric effect? The wavelength of microwaves are more than
It's way above the
that of
required.
yes. Yeah, it is greater than ultraviolet. If you can, you should also be able to write down their values. 3 into 10 raised to minus 8. Ultraviolet is between 3 into 10 raised to minus 8 to 4 into 10 raised to minus 7. So that you should be able to write down their values. That will give you weightage. So if you are a top scorer, these matters are taken into account by your chief moderator. Okay. Then a small question. How is radius of gyration useful? Define radius of gyration. How is it useful? What are you going to write? Radius of gyration definition you
It
can
helps
get.
us in
gives
analyzing
an
the
idea of the
moment of
definition.
inertia and
Yeah.
the distribution of mass.
Yes, very good. So you will write down the formula I equal to mk square. Okay. Then you can say that as k increases the size of the body, what happens to it? As k increases, what happens to the size of the body? More k means
Size increases.
increases. So you will say it gives you an idea about, as he said, about the size of the body. Okay. Then one question, which common objects have expressions of their moment of inertia as half mr square? Which common objects can have their moment of inertia as half mr square? That you will get from the table that is given at the end of that chapter 1. So there are 3 of them. So you should be able to write. This is how 1 mark questions are framed. This is Arnav, what happened? Somebody is talking. Okay, is that clear? So this is how we created the 1 mark question. So when a paper is set, the paper, and that is when scrutiny committee goes to your Pune board office, we are told not to carry even our cell phones. We cannot carry, we just have to go empty-handed inside the room, and we are just given the textbook. So we need to write down or frame the questions from the textbook. And that is how the textbook forms a very important part in the question paper. Everything comes from the textbook. Okay. Now, what is turbulent flow? What is Seebeck effect? What is Pascal's law? These things were not there in the previous question. So these are a few sections. Somebody wants to speak? Am I not clear? Hello?
You're clear, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I can hear some humming sound. That is why. Okay. Now, you can have state the uses as I told you about Van de Graaff generator. Similarly, the time period in case of this thing, cyclotron, frequency and time period. Okay. Then uses of the note on free expansion. Now, this is something which is new. Free expansion. Describe principles of nuclear reactor. Define excitation energy and ionization energy. Both are from the same chapter. The functions are different. Then state Stephen Boltzmann's law and state and explain Stephen Boltzmann's law. How it is raised to T, how it is T raised to 4, proportional to T raised to 4. Then there is one question, hidden questions. State the limitations of Bohr's atomic model on page 330, 330. Can you locate that? Which generally goes unnoticed. 330, limitations of Bohr's atomic model. So any two limitations written, you will be, they are easy, just read and you can get them. Okay. Then for section C, Rayleigh's criteria for minimum resolution. Okay. Faraday's laws, I already told you, and showing that all harmonics are present in stretched string. Resonant frequency में series and parallel resonance circuit. Okay. Then section D may define perfectly black body and explain the spectral distribution of a perfectly black body. Then terminal velocity, as I told you, or construction and working of so many things can come up. Okay. Now, when you're doing your chapter 1, okay, there are 3 formulae for vehicles. One, vehicle on a horizontal road, vehicle on a banked road, and vehicle on in the well of death. Vehicle on the horizontal road is V max. Banked road is also V max, but well of death is V minimum. The mu varies in all 3 of them. So write down these 3 formulae by comparison method. Then when you're learning meter bridge and Kelvin's method, do it by comparison. Draw the circuit diagrams and practice them. Just see what is the small difference between both of them. Meter bridge is to find out the unknown resistance, and Kelvin's method is to find out the unknown resistance of the galvanometer. Similarly, when you're talking about even by 2, individual method, sum and difference, and internal resistance, all of them use a potentiometer. So study them together simultaneously. Tino diagram draw karo on just derive their formulas. And again, when you're talking about step down transformer and step up transformer, you have to be very clear that the primary windings should be more than the secondary windings, because it has to be step, I'm talking about half wave and full wave rectifier. It has to be a step down transformer wherein your primary turns should be more than your secondary turns. The diagram for which is given on page 345. So you can see that the primary windings are more and the secondary windings are less. There, another catch is that you have to show the direction of the load current. the load current will go from diode D1 to diode D2. Output has to be shown, input has to be shown, the two diodes have to be shown. All those things carry marks. Okay. Then there are a few hidden definitions. Please identify them. What is a thermodynamic system? It will come on page 77. ये अभी सिर्फ mention करके ले लो. Then they are very fond of the laws of thermodynamics. So all the three laws, zeroth law, first law, and second law. Zeroth law is on page 76. First law is on page 81. And second law statement is not given in the textbook. So you can just write it down that mechanical work can be converted into heat, but heat cannot be completely converted into mechanical work. That is, heat and work are not equivalent. This statement you can write, which of course most of you all know, those who have done thermodynamics, it's there in your chemistry also. Then the hidden definition, the hidden article is limitations of the first law of thermodynamics, which is there on page 102. Then elements of heat engine, page 96. Isothermal process, page 90. Two basic types of heat engine, that is external combustion and internal combustion. Then page 355 mein which LED gives what color? The red LED, the green one. So which combination? Then on page 351, if you all can go to page 351, working principle of photodiode mein, niche there is dark current. The reverse current depends on the concentration of the minority carriers and not on the applied. This current, the current which is the reverse current wala, that definition you have to write regarding your dark current. Then uses of filter circuit. Then 1 mark numerical में page 327 15.1 वाला जो है, ऐसे वाले छोटे छोटे numericals can be converted into an MCQ or a 1 mark numerical. That is Rn is equal to A0 n square. Page 357, example 15.1. Then uses of choke coil. Torricelli's vacuum. Quasi-static system. Torricelli's vacuum, page 32. Quasi-static systems, page 86. Displacement current, page 208. What is gauge pressure, page 30. What is unified atomic mass unit? Unified AMU it is called, page 331. All these are hidden ones. And one thing that I would like to say about do's and don'ts is never use abbreviations. Potential difference SPD, simple pendulum SP. Okay, so never use them, and don't ever round off your final answers in numericals. Leave it up to 3 decimal places. Okay. Then what else do I have to tell you all? Please learn, draw all the diagrams and practice. Okay. What is hydrostatic paradox? Please read that. That is comes under this thing, Pascal's law. The bases are of same this thing, but the size and shape of the containers are different. So you have this hydrostatic paradox. Carnot cycle has not been asked. Aries disk, page 181 has not been asked. Cyclotron accelerator, 10.7 equation, that is your time period wala. Distinction between para and di, para and ferro, or ferromagnetism on the basis of domain theory, 3-mark question. Okay, alpha, beta, gamma radiations ka distinction. So I suppose all these things carry a lot of weightage. Okay. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Can I stop
Ma'am.
data? Yes, bolo.
The page which we have to leave for section B in case we have time.
You will have time. If you're practicing by writing them down, see, every 3-mark question should have a diagram and an explanation in brief. And if you can just, main points agar aap karke derive karke karoge, you will have ample time later. If you have practiced writing the whole year, definitely you will have time. And there were 5 question papers given to you,
Yes, ma'am.
right? 5 question papers. Please ensure that even if you're not writing the entire question papers, at least you're marking them, and at least you should know, identify those questions where they are, and just cover all of them. They have
Yes,
covered almost the entire syllabus.
Okay, ma'am.
Doing all those 5 questions, solving the numericals, will give you an idea about what are the different type of numericals. And theory questions, of course, will cover your major portion of your syllabus. Most of them are board questions, and they have specific weightages. Do not write any question anywhere. No need to write any question. And 21 most likely is just a replica of last year's 21 likely. If you just compare, all the questions are the same. So how does it become most likely every year? Okay, you can just see if there are any additional questions or something given, or maybe you can see last year's paper in it. Otherwise, most likely is just a replica of all the previous years. They don't upgrade it as such. Okay. Any other questions? We will be getting the recording. That is not in my hand, beta. Whoever it is, Aditya, it is not in my hand. You will have to consider. I don't even know who you all are. So I've given you all the questions, but I don't know anything about the recording. You can ask Abang sir, or maybe your other sir. Okay. Yes, bolo.
What if we don't get time to write extra questions of section?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. You should be confident of what you're writing.
But then, ma'am, should we cut off the page that we left?
Just write it off in the end.
Yeah.
Okay. No issue. Never tear a page from that. Abhi chhod gaya, abhi kya sochega teacher? Kuch nahi. Never tear off. If the numbers are not in continuation, that is treated as a copy case. Okay. So never tear off. Okay. So don't worry about it. If you leave it empty also, that's not an issue. Nothing will happen. The examiner will strike it off, or the moderator. Okay.
Ma'am, so now do you suggest us to comprehensively study from the state board ka textbook instead of Navneet?
Where else are you going to study, beta? Do you have notes?
No, ma'am. Navneet, like the questions are there, the answers and all are providing us enough insight. So,
See,
but
I know this is not the time for me to emphasize on textbook, but you can keep both of them at hand. See whether the Navneet is skipping out on any steps. Okay.
Yes,
you can keep both of them. See if the steps are missed. कहीं ये ना हो कि आपके major step, because see the textbook का number of pages is fixed. Your textbook carries 364 pages. Now Navneet with question and answer and everything will not be able to incorporate everything that is given in the text. So they try to make it precise and student friendly, so that students feel this ka thickness come hai, so I'll buy this and study this. That is a content factor. So to make students buy them, they try to cut down on the major steps. So if those steps are included in those answers from Navneet, there is absolutely no harm in studying from that, because it is at distance. Had it been in June, I would have outright rejected. Now I cannot say don't do that. Now read the text because there's no time to read the textbook now. But definitely the paper setters know that Navneet is widely used, so उसमें से MCQs वगैरह बहुत chances कम है. Similar type के आएंगे, but वो questions नहीं आएंगे. Textbook exercises, book back is sufficient. Inside the chapter and outside the chapter वाले जो text numericals है, that is more than sufficient because that gives you a pattern of the question, the type of questions. So you just keep doing them, solve all of them, all variety are available in the text. And actually the paper setters have been instructed not to go beyond the scope of the text. So वो नहीं रहे. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
The board had
बोलो.
the board had released this question bank, so is it necessary to do it?
I was only the major creator of the question bank. It is not from the board, it was from SCR.
Oh,
So we had only compiled, I mean, I wrote around 11 chapters. So but then paper setters will not, may not adhere to it strictly, but you can refer to them for your 1 markers and MCQs.
okay, ma'am.
It is not from board beta. It has not come out officially on the SCRT site. They have put it up, but they have not actually released it in the market. So only those who have an access to it can get. Okay. It was to come out as a workbook. It was to come out as a workbook. But somehow with the new national education policy principles, they stopped coming out with the print. So you can just refer. If you have those, once you're done with all the chapters, go through every question and see whether you can answer all of them. That would also be a good practice. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Any other questions? Does anyone have anything else to ask? Both of them, I mean, your Abang sir and Sachin sir have my number. Okay. Anytime till your board exam, you can call me. You can get your doubts clarified. You can ask me any questions that you have. Or if you have any doubts, you can definitely call me. Uttam's paper, that is again the 5 papers that has been given was also prepared. So you can just see those 5 papers. Again, फिर से आप question paper देखते रहोगे. Go through the textbook. Content कर लो पहले. ठीक है, आवनी. पहले आप content कर लो. उसके बाद आप वो जो 5 question papers आपको दिए थे वो पहले solve करो. And then if you still have time, go through the Uttam question papers. आपको ये सारे क्वेश्चन सब में मिल जाएंगे. यही क्वेश्चंस उसी में सब है. सर्कुलेट वही होते हैं. उत्तम पीपल आल्सो मेक अस ओनली राइट ऑल दिस. वही क्वेश्चन नजर आएंगे. So there won't be any novelty in it. But still for your confidence you can go. Done? Can we stop, बच्चे लोग?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All my best wishes, even though we've never met, but please do convey to your teachers also if your papers have really gone well. And feel free to call me whenever you feel you have any doubt. I'm always there. All my best wishes to all of you. Thank you. Can I stop now? Can I stop now? Yash, बंद कर दूं? यशी चला गया. Okay, chalo, bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, beta. Thank you. All of you leave, then I leave. After you all leave, I leave. Thank you.